It's Dave Johal once again for Punch Out Boxing. Pleased to be joined by my colleague Ra Hokum in what is the eve of Wardley versus Parker or Parker versus Wardley. Both big heavyweights go down in action on Saturday night, live on DAZN. Ra, what a fight, first of all, not just for boxing, but for the heavyweight division. I mean, we could have another one of those nights where the heavyweight landscape could be changed again. What are your thoughts on the on fight night?
Terrific fight. Great to see these guys staying active, willing to take sort of genuine competitive fights, whilst the undisputed champion stalls everyone as he is. I thought it made sense initially because I thought, well, Usyk's got one foot in retirement and he may well actually just decide to pack it in which case the winner would be elevated to full champion. Um, as it turns out, he's changed his mind, he says, but I guess he nothing to stop him changing his mind again after this. So it's a fight I think worth taking for both men rather than just sort of sit on their hands and wait to see what Usyk does. And yeah, I'm excited. And as a British fight fan, we're getting treated once again to a big heavyweight fight.
Yeah, I mean, I'll pull out a quote from what Joseph Parker said in the press conference yesterday. Um, Credit to Wardley for taking this fight, but it is the wrong time to take this fight because I am going to smash him. He picked this fight, and I said yes to every fight, so we both want to fight. He believes in himself, but I know I'm going to win this fight. He is going to learn that it's okay to have a loss, and he has got enough time to climb back. What are your thoughts on that? Super confident Parker. I'm emphasizing on the part where it says I am going to smash him. Do you think he's gonna smash him? Have we seen this resurgence in Parker now where he is a bit of a bully?
Um, well, I mean, he took out Bacoli in pretty spectacular fashion. Obviously, that was a badly out of condition Bacoli, but nevertheless, um, Parker has a very strong claim to be the number two heavyweight in the world at the moment. He should rightfully be confident and believe he's levels above Wardley. I agree with him partly and disagree with him partly. I disagree with him when he says it's too soon for Wardley. Well, no, Wardley's the interim WBA champ, and he's shown that he's got that equalizer for to kind of bridge the gap for in terms of skill set, and that matters more at heavyweight. So I disagree with him on that. It's the right time to take it. He's on a roll. There's no point, as I said, sitting on your hands and just waiting, hoping that the queue thins out. It won't. Wardley's doing the right thing. Got the opportunity to get himself to the top of the queue. Um, but he's right in the sense that it's okay to have a loss because Wardley's young enough as a heavyweight and good enough to come again. So yeah, expect Parker to be very confident. He would have seen the first 9.5 rounds that Wardley fought against Justice Hoon and thought, well, I can do that, and if need be, for another 3.5 rounds on top without getting caught. So yeah, but then at the same time, Wardley will know that Parker's been down against someone like Zhang. Zhang's at 42 can't move through the gears. If there's one thing Wardley can do, he can go from 0 to 100 instantly. If he gets you going hurt or clipped, there'll be no hesitation. There'll be no feeling out. He will go for the jugular. So yeah, I think as I said, that they're both right to have taken this fight.
Yeah, it definitely is a winner takes all affair. I mean, Wardley definitely showed up, should we just say, against Justice Hooney near the end of the fight. It could happen again. I mean, there's no foregone conclusion, but I think, personally speaking, I think if fans are expecting that and just that, um, I think they'll be in for a surprise. I can't see that happening again. I think Parker is very, very, very experienced. I mean, on Parker's experience. and how long he's been around. Fabio Wardley said yesterday he has been going around the block for a long time with a lot of fights on his record. By no means he is an old man to the game, but he has been in the sport for a long time and had some heavy fights. Look, I've been in a few wars myself, which he has, and I know they might put miles on the clock. And Joe has been in it a lot more rounds and a lot more of those than me. I think he's alluding there to his experience and you know and just trying to sort of say to the critics, look, yes, he has been around for a while, but he is the older in terms of out the two. Do you think that's going to play into Fabio's hands a bit? I mean, he is going in there with a former world champion, isn't he? A former world
Mm.
champion who represented his country at the Olympics as well. So he's not going in there with no mug, is he?
No, of course not. As I said, Parker's probably the second best heavyweight in the world. Don't Probably only Cavall could rival him for that second spot. But yeah, I see Fabio's point. At some point in a fighter's career, the wear and tear offsets any benefits of experience because your body will no longer sort of respond the way you want. But there's been no sign of that from Parker in recent fights.
Especially the last three, right? The last three
Yeah,
fights that he's
exactly.
had.
And he's
Yeah.
on such a great run, at least on paper. Um, I don't think the wear and tear is that bad on Parker. Really, I can only think of two really punishing fights he had, and that was the Dillian White fight and the Joe Joyce fight. Really, the other loss, like against AJ, for example, weren't particularly punishing.
No.
AJ fought a caution first fight, so it's not like Joe took loads of punishment there. Um, yeah, against Zhang, he got dropped a couple of times, but they were like a single shot. It weren't prolonged beatings. So nah, I think compared to some fighters, I don't think he's got that much sort of miles on his clock. So I still think Joe Parker is pretty fresh in the game.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's only got better since those defeats, hasn't he? And again, it's only my opinion, but I think the last three fights, okay, Bacoli it was a questionable win in terms of Bacoli's physique and how long he took in terms of notice to get the fight. But you can only beat what's in front of you. But the Zhang victory was a good win, wasn't it? So that was a really good win, being on the canvas and still coming across as still coming out the victor. So I think it's going to be an interesting fight. Um, but that 95% KO ratio, we can't kind of, ignore that, can we? From Fabio Wardley, 95% of his fights have been won by knockout. He does carry power. He does carry power,
Yeah,
doesn't he? And we saw that
real
against
power.
Joshua Tunney.
Exactly. And I don't know why people go on so much about the fact that Wardley was being outboxed by Hooney so much and in other fights. I mean, that's part of the course in the game through, through all levels. You often see the puncher getting outboxed for however long the fight lasts before their big punch turns it round. I mean, there's been some of the great fighters who've had to experience that getting outboxed, but their punching power turns the fight round. So I don't see that as anything significant. I I do think although there is a big skill gap, I don't think there's a big gap in terms of the odds on who will win because
Yeah.
Wardley can turn it round. And as I said, we've seen Parker down before, we've seen him hurt before, so he's not impregnable in that sense. So yeah, 36 minutes is a long time to sort of be in the ring to not get hit with anything. So I think Fabio, he has a very good chance. He is the underdog, but not an overwhelming underdog.
No, I mean, a memory that comes to mind was Carl Froch versus Jermaine Taylor, wasn't it? Losing
Yeah.
more or less I wouldn't say every round, I'll have to go back, but definitely losing the fight. And then Carl Froch turned it on on Taylor, and there you have it. It was lights out. So it can happen, but we forget
hmm
about this, don't we? And for the fans as well, we like that as well, don't we? In terms of someone who turns it round near the end, it makes what is well, let's be honest, okay? If Justice Hooley boxed his way to a victory, which it was on the cards, it was almost going to be that case, you wouldn't have said that was an amazing fight. What made that night even special? I mean, you were there, you were watching it live, was,
hmm
oh my God, look at what Fabio Wardley's just done. That's what's made it a memorable night. And I still think Joseph Parker versus Wardley could be one of those memorable nights. I mean, we'll get into our predictions now. Tomorrow we're going to drop our final predictions. Do you want to go ahead first for this for the main event? How do you see, right now before the weigh-in, because you're going to be heading over there soon, hopefully getting some interviews and some footage as well. But how do you see the main event going down?
Uh, I think Parker, for all his bullish talk, I think him and his team will have been well aware of what Wardley can do if you switch off. So I think he will use his superior ring craft, like Hooney did, to outbox Fabio. But I think he'll keep his concentration for the full 12 rounds and get safely to the final bell where he'll be the winner. But that said, I wouldn't be surprised at all if he did get dropped. However, because of his experience, because he's experienced it before, I think he will be able to survive, get up, and ride out the storm to see himself through to safety.
Yeah, so with myself, I agree with you. I think I wouldn't be surprised if he does get dropped. But I think again, just the experience of how long he's been around, who he's been in the ring with, being trained by Andy Lee, they're going to work on potentially those, Fabio Wardley's power in terms of, what if he gets caught? I think he's more experienced than what Justice Hooley. No disrespect to Justice Hooley, he put up a great fight. To be fair, he just got caught near the end, but I think he was more superior than, sorry, more experienced than Justice Hooley, and I think it will be a Joseph Parker, possibly even a split decision win. Um,
Mhm.
but again, playing devil's advocate, if Fabio Wardley does win, um, and he does win in an emphatic style and knocks out Joseph Parker, I wouldn't be surprised as well because he does carry that power. If he does win, it's what's next, isn't it? I mean, I pull up the quote from Frank Warren yesterday in terms of what he said. This is the most significant fight, he said, Raw, at the moment in the heavyweight division. It is the best one out there. These two guys have stepped up when neither of them needed to make the fight, which is something I agree with him with. Joe Parker, he's the interim champion, and the WBO have already ordered that Alexander Usyk has to defend the belt against him, but was injured. So potentially, this could open up that fight, can't it, between Joe Parker and Usyk down the line, or Fabio Wardley versus Alexander Usyk, and what a story that would be as well in terms of white collar boxing, the everyman. Let's be honest. We've
Yeah.
spoken to Fabio before. He's absolutely great to talk with. He's a white collar worker, an overnight heavyweight champion of the world. I mean that could potentially happen. I mean, what a Cinderella story that would be. So for boxing fans and in terms of the public and where this could go in terms of the story, fantastic. But a fight with Alexander Usyk is something that is on the horizon. Which other fights are you looking forward to? I mean, we're gonna do our final prediction video tomorrow anyway, just on the main event. But are you interested in Ezra Taylor versus? I mean, he always brings good value, should we just say? He's
Yeah.
great to watch, great to be around, and he's a good talker. Does Steed Woodall give him that threat? What Louis Edmondson?
I would say more problems than threat. I think, as Dev Sani pointed out on Twitter, Woodall has a better win than any that Ezra Taylor's got.
Lerone
So he's no
Richards?
mark. He stopped Lerone Richards,
He did, yeah.
who at one point was considered the best super middleweight in the country, um, outside of Callum Smith, I think, at the time.
Former
So
world champion as well. Let's not forget. I mean, it's
yeah,
the
yeah,
IBO
exactly.
super middleweight champion, wasn't
So
he? So,
I think Woodall will give Ezra some problems because Ezra's still quite raw. I think Woodall got stopped by Callum Simpson in 2 rounds last time out, but I thought that was a very soft stoppage. Yeah, I don't think he was particularly hurt, and I think the referee called it too soon. So I don't think Woodall is any pushover. Ezra, like I said, he's still quite inexperienced, bit of a late starter in boxing. So I think that would be a decent fight. Obviously, we really wanted Ezra against Edmondson
Yeah,
because
yeah,
then to
absolutely.
win that would the build up would have been gold. But anyway, hopefully we'll get that early next year. So yeah, but I expect Ezra to win that after having some problems getting to him. I would expect him maybe around eight to ten to maybe catch up with him and stop him. I'm looking forward to the cruiserweight fight, All to Die against Fogham. All to Die again got a lot of support from his Albanian fans. He's
Is
20
he
and
the
one,
next
and
mark in
cruiserweight,
terms of support, Rod? Do you think he
yeah,
is? Do you think he could carry that mantle, that mark you had in terms of Albanian fans and bring
yeah.
them everywhere? Yeah.
I think absolutely can. He's a good speaker. Obviously, he's only just relocated to the UK, which is the right decision because there's a lot of good cruiserweights in this country, sort of at the domestic level. So this is for the IBO title. Yeah, it's not as highly regarded, but it'll, get him in the picture for some other fights. And yeah, I think if he wins, keep an eye on him. I think he'll bring some interesting fights domestically at least, if not higher. And of course, a couple of the other guys on there. There's one of our alumni, if you like, from our friends
Yes.
at
Yeah.
Newton and TM14,
The
young
Peacock.
Arnie Dawson.
Yeah.
He's got a big opportunity just a month after his last fight. And against Mitchell Smith, who he's got quite a story. I saw him at York Hall in his comeback. Of course, he had like a 6 or 7 year hiatus. Back in his youth, he was one of those hot prospects, fell off the rails, trying to have one last go. That would be fascinating. But Mitchell Smith, he's had a couple of journeymen, but against Arnie Dawson, he's in for a real fight. So I think this for him is almost like a last chance to see if you can make something. Because if you can't get past Arnie Dawson, who's a dangerous kid, you spoke to him, I know last time out.
He just likes knocking
Um,
people out, doesn't he? I mean, the
yeah,
last few
yeah,
fights, I mean, obviously he had that tear up with Marley Mason, who,
yeah,
to be fair, that fight was going to be a tear up. Soon as it went from pen, I saw John write down the fight card before it got published. So that's going to be a tear up. That will be a
yeah,
war, and it was. You got to back Arnie on that one.
yeah,
Not recency bias, but just the path he's on at the moment, going over to, I think it was Sunderland, beating a 4-0 kid. He was the away
yeah.
fighter, came back with a knockout, went to the States, came back with another knockout. And when you spoke to him, he looks like a choir boy, doesn't he? He doesn't look like anything menacing, but boy, can he punch.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I mean, it's interesting. Mitchell's nickname in his youth was the baby-faced assassin. Now he's going to be coming across one. Yeah, I'm going to go for Arnie. I think Mitchell, those 6 or 7 years blowing up in weight, coming back down. I think unfortunately that will cost him against Arnie. So, but yeah, good luck to him. And of course, there's a bit of a step up for Royston Barney Smith. He was another hot shot on Queensberry's books. He was talking about wanting to break Naz's record as the youngest British world champ. I mean, that'll be a tall order. I think he's running out of time. But Quartermain, who's unbeaten, tricky boxer. We're going to see if Barney Smith's if he's really got it here because this will be a tricky fight for him. If he is going to go, be even half of what Naz was, then these are the sort of fights he's got to sort of look good in. So
I mean,
that'll
it's a
be
big
interesting.
fight for Quartermain as well, to be fair. I mean, he was, I think, I'm right in saying with the controversy with Jack Bates, and I think he, not wants to clear his name, but he wants to get out there as well, doesn't he? And say, look, this is what I'm about. I know he trains over at with Lewis Williams, who's very very close with our channel as well. So I don't know. How are you calling that one? Are you calling that one? Do you
Yeah, I'm inclined to think
tricky?
Barney Smith. I think after a lot of problems early on, I think he'll probably get to Quartermain, maybe late on. Uh, Barney Smith can punch a bit, and under Ben Davison's tutelage, I'm sure he's added a lot of the necessary technical craft as well. So I do expect his punching power to tell late on.
Yeah, it's gonna. I mean, look, we're in for a great night. We'll do a show next week. Just in regards to pay-per-views and the price of some. In regards to creeping up. Because what we thought this was going to be abolished, but this is another pay-per-view. It's a behind another paywall, isn't it? A subscription, and
Mhm.
there's a pay-per-view on top. So we are going to do some shows next week regarding our thoughts on that and what the general consensus is and where it's going. But look, we've got a great night of boxing on Saturday. Make sure you stick with us on Saturday for results. Um, and Ra, where are you going to be over on Saturday? Unfortunately, not going to this one, but you're going to be over at our good friends with TM14 and Nielsen
Of
over
course.
at the York Hall, isn't it?
I will be, yeah, a couple of good prospects on that show. Shona Whitwell fights out of the Matchroom gym. Macy Rose is making her comeback. And Louis Piketty, the young heavyweight hotshot. Apparently, he's got an opponent coming over from Argentina. If you look at our interview with John early in the week, 10-4, but 10 knockouts. So let's see if he wants to sort of separate himself from the pack of young prospects. He'll want to get the job done spectacularly on Saturday. So yeah, I'll be following those grassroots fights on Saturday at York Hall.
Good stuff. So yeah, you're over to the weigh-in in a few hours' time. Enjoy. Look out for content today, tomorrow, Sunday, and through into next week as well. Get your predictions in as well. It'll be great to hear from you all as to how this fight's going to be going down. And as always, may the best man win.